Milwaukee Bucks were eliminated from the first round of the playoffs for the third time in a row after they lost to the Pacers in 5 games. Following this exit, our Shams Charania reported Giannis Antetokounmpo, for the first time in his career, is open to potentially leaving Milwaukee and requesting a trade from the Bucks. Shaquille O'Neal is opposed to Giannis's potential trade request, claiming he should recruit superstars instead. Shaq spoke to Yahoo Sports about this potential trade move and gave his advice to the Greek superstar about embracing the small market. Here's Shaq on Giannis.
I would tell him they're probably throwing in his face bigger market. Doesn't matter. Social media is the market now. You go to LA, that's 50% of your contract goes to Texas. More pressure, more articles, and more stress. You know, when I was coming up, it was small market, you're too small, you probably need to go to a big market. I took advantage of that, but now every market is the same. And not only that, he's making a supermax, so I mean, what do you need a big market for?
Interesting take right there. Social media is certainly changing the game. S.A., how do you feel about that? Do you feel like market size matters for NBA stars in today's game?
It matters to certain stars, no question about it. Not every star. Certain stars are transcendent. Shaq was a transcendent superstar. Giannis is transcendent. Kobe was transcendent. LeBron, Steph Curry, transcendent. Jalen Brunson, not so much. As phenomenal and great as Jalen Brunson has been over the last 3 years in New York, there is no doubt that he would not be as appreciated and as conspicuous in the mind's eye of basketball fans everywhere had it not been for him being in the New York market. I think if he was in a smaller market doing the same thing, I don't think the allure attached to Jalen Brunson would exist there. What I will say and what I want to say is that although Shaq is right, he's not wrong. I'm very, very disappointed to hear that from him. And I'm going to tell you why. The big market, when he alluded to, and he was 1,000% correct, the pressure that comes with the New York market, that comes with an LA market, how the fan base is different, the tradition matters, the expectations, etc. Boston, to a lesser degree, Chicago, particularly once after Jordan arrived, all of this other stuff. When he mentioned that, that's one of the criterias some of the great ones look to point to themselves and what they did, the market that they did it in, Jay and Eminem, the microscopic eye that was placed upon them, the pressures that came with it. So in other words, when you're analyzing and evaluating their greatness, their accomplishments, they'll tell you, don't forget what I was dealing with. Don't forget the environment, the work environment I had to come to every day and the pressure that was brought to bear. They will bring that up. Shaq was one of those people. It wasn't just about him doing what he did in Orlando before and then LA. It was the expectations. It was having to be in the LA market. It was knowing that Kareem had won a chip there, that Wilt had won a chip there, that Mike had won a championship for the franchise. And he knew he had to do it too. That was a part of it. Now, he had to do it no matter where he was, and I understand that. But it elevated once he got to Los Angeles. And so my attitude is that why ignore that now? Because that convolutes the argument. That's what people will lean on to say, see, that's not real, necessary, whatever. But y'all are ones in our ear telling us, yo, man, we had to deal with it. Why should they get away with having to deal with it? And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Monica?
So the part of this soundbite that caught my attention was the social media comp, only because, Jay, I just had this conversation with some guys about the power of social media in this day and age. And believe it or not, the conversation mostly was that social media does not have the ability to trump traditional media, in which, extension to this conversation, traditional media in bigger markets is loud, has the opportunity to I shouldn't say make or break, but contribute greatly to success and positive perception, and obviously be able to contribute the other way, right? So, but the point about that in that conversation was social media is still so new age, and there's still such a strong fan base that relies on what comes from the traditional senses of media, and obviously those media places are louder and more present in bigger markets. So to me, I do still think that market size makes a big difference. Now, as you said, S.A., I agree, maybe not for every player, but the idea that that has just been blanketed and erased because of the power of social media, to me, is inaccurate.
So to add on to what you both said, because I think you guys are both correct, And Stephen A., you talked about the difference between transcendent players internationally as opposed to a player like Jalen Brunson, who is a prolific, great player in the NBA, a superstar in the NBA, but being in the right market can help him and his brand exponentially, right? So then I always talk about depending upon who the superstar is and what they actually want to build.
That part. Yep.
Right? And I think it's okay. We used to always parse them.
Absolutely.
For us, because it used to just be about basketball. But now when it's about building a conglomerate, Stephen A., you know a lot about this in your business. Right now we're multiple things. And if you're going to a bigger market, the optionality you have to build multiple things while your brand deals with the pressure and everything that comes along with it, those opportunities, the value proposition is drastically different than if you're in a smaller market. So for a guy like Giannis, depending upon what Giannis wants to build, market size does matter.
But I feel like there's a
Last
layer.
part.
Oh, go ahead, Stephen A.
Last part. It matters. Nobody can refute that. Social media is a very, very potent presence. But the potency of that presence also has something to do with you and how you embrace it or how you don't embrace it. You know, when you look at social media, for example, there's a lot of people that don't want to look at it, are scared to look at it. They can't take the criticism, stuff like that. Or if they do look at it and they take it, it pierces them, it hurts them. Me personally, everybody's built differently. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't want to cuss somebody out. There isn't a week that goes by that my
What's your
parents
burner
doesn't call
account,
me-
SA?
So what
he got one.
I don't have a burner.
Hold on. So does that mean you read your comments? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Or your
Sometimes-
Google alerts?
sometimes.
Hold
What do
on,
you
Molly. I'm answering your question. It's very rare that I read my comments, and it's even rarer that I respond to them. I say what I say, and I stand on it. But every now and then, particularly when you have people in the business, for example, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't want to cuss somebody out and go to hell off and drop truth bombs all over the damn place with their lying asses. But I don't do it most of the time because they're not worth it. But the flip side to it is that I can take it. I actually enjoy it sometimes. I might be a bit foggy. It might be the damn I'm tired. Well, I'm a little bored today. And somebody woke me up with some BS that they said, and it was exactly what I needed to energize me. Other people, how could they say this to me? How could they say that about me? What the hell are they doing? And they're overreacting to everything. And a lot of players, their belief, and this, Jay, you can appreciate this. Their belief is that it affects their brand. My point is, most of the time, you shouldn't be thinking about your brand. You should be thinking about you. And by thinking about you, being who you are and being consistent with it is what defines your brand. That's what it is. And they don't get that because they're reacting to it and letting it manipulate and infect their brand because they went against themselves because they couldn't take the vitriol that was aimed in their direction. I live for it. I live for it. I mean, don't bother me.
Yeah,
but other people are paid differently.
You're a different breed. But real quick, just back to the Giannis subject, 'cause I thought it was really interesting what you said in Shaq's argument, social media, traditional media. And then there's also just going to a team where you win rings.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a big market. So I feel like there's three layers. Like, are you going to a San Antonio because you feel like you could win a ring? Or are you going to LA because it's LA? Like, there's really three components, I feel like.
Business opportunities.
Obviously, you want all three, but you
Social
can't always
media
get,
feeds
you can't
your
always
business
get
stuff.
all three.
Yeah.
So it's dual.
Get 2 out of 3.
Earlier, too,
dual.
today, and Jay, you were there for this, our teammate, shout out to Greeny, he made the point, SA, and I'm just curious, throw this out in this conversation. Sure. He made the point that we are still feeling like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is introducing himself coming from OKC, but when KD, Russ, and James were there, it didn't seem like that space was treated like a small market. My answer to that, I say, was the sheer numbers of how great those three guys are. But what you got?
No, it wasn't to me, Monica, more so than this element. They all had defined personalities.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you like the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we noticed that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.